Also, to all the people who said, switch to auto, you gotta go automatic transmission for your quest for 8s. Hell no, brother, I will not switch from this man's mission 6-speed. Automatics are cool and they are faster and you break less stuff, but man, driving stick shift is just a freaking blast. I know it's not as fast, but man, there's something about rowing gears in a man's mission that just, it's all American, brother. You just can't beat that. So we will be sticking with stick shift and Leroy probably indefinitely.
Hell yeah, brother. You're on the Cleetus McFarland YouTube channel.
Alright, so just made it to Fasterproms. Gonna yank old Leroy out of the trailer, and we got a lot of work to do to make it to Streetcar Takeover Charlotte this weekend. Transmission, wheels, tires, spindles, suspension. Should be fun. Come to life. Leroy was raised from just a young age. Home sweet home for old Leroy. You gotta love it when you get a pallet from RPM. The MURICA transmission is back and she's got a few upgrades I think you guys are gonna like. It's finally time to get Chad from the Shop Inc.'s stock transmission and diff out of Leroy. Surprised it survived this far, but we're going to send it back to him. Everything works perfectly on it still. We're going to put the MURICA transmission back in, but let me tell you guys a little bit about this real quick. Alright, there she is, all unwrapped, back in her former glory, red, white, and blue. Got the bald eagles on there. Man, I've actually really missed having this thing in Leroy because it just looks so cool. I mean, the stock one is just kind of boring. It's nice to have, you know, some real American pride in your transmission and diff. So if you recall, when we were previously turbocharging Leroy, we sent out the transmission and diff to RPM Transmissions, and they did some upgrades for us. We did a level 5 transmission build, which came with upgraded gears, forks, micro polishing, and a lot of different smaller upgrades, which is, you know, plenty for what we were doing with Leroy. We also did a stage 3 build on the rear diff, which comes with a C6 Z06 pinion support, other upgrades, micro polishing, things like that. And between those two builds, there was one thing that we left out. We did not upgrade the output shaft. We stuck with the stock one. And you know, as long as I didn't do anything crazy, it probably wasn't going to break. Well, as you guys have previously seen, I did do something stupid. I tried to do a burnout in dried up prep. I didn't back up into the water box like I should have, trying to get some extra heat, and tried to do a little cheat. Did not work, and we ended up destroying the output shaft on my transmission. Luckily, we were able to put a spare transmission in to race Kyle, but I have to put a built one back in here because Leroy will shred a stock one if I'm not very kind to it. So I sent the transmission back to RPM. They turned it around right away, and they put a sick new billet output shaft in this transmission. You can't see it now because it's all sealed up, but the output shaft that goes from the transmission into the diff is now billet. It's very strong, a lot stronger than the stock ones. Luckily, when the transmission and diff got back to them, there really wasn't much damage to the diff nor the transmission. So the spider gears had a little bit of damage on them from the output shaft being broken off in there and us pushing the car, but the output shaft just had to be replaced and everything else was good. So they sent it back with that new billet output shaft and we're good to go. It's definitely something I probably should have upgraded back when we had it apart and up at RPM the first time. It's my fault, but you know, it is what it is. Now I've got the upgraded one in there, and RPM was kind enough to hook me up and swap it out really quickly for a great price. RPM Transmissions is really important to this build. They helped us get Leroy to where he is today. We can't put the power down without him. So now it's time to yank out that old transmission, drop this thing in, and put down some power. feel like you guys have had to watch this scene like 800 times. Dropping the rear cradle. Alright, so the rear cradle is on the floor. Time to pull out this transmission and diff. She's got some miles on her, but man, this thing held up good and it is still working perfect. So pull this down, toss in the old beautiful MURICA transmission. Tranny's out, we got the diff draining right there. I'm gonna get ready to put this one in here, but that was pretty easy. So right now I'm putting on the RPM Transmission's diff brace. This helps strengthen the joint between the transmission and the diff so they don't break off on a hard launch. And then I pretty much just have to reverse the process of putting the cradle back on the car. I don't have to put it together completely because I will be taking apart the hubs on each side to change out the spindle, change out the caliper, and put on the new brakes from Carlisle Racing. We're doing new studs too, and then we'll be able to put the new wheels on. Man, I'm excited to see those freaking welds looking gorgeous on Leroy the Savage. Also, to all the people who said, switch to auto, you gotta go automatic transmission for your quest for 8s. Hell no, brother, I will not switch from this man's mission 6-speed. Automatics are cool and they are faster and you break less stuff, but man, driving stick shift is just a freaking blast. I know it's not as fast, but man, there's something about rowing gears in a man's mission that just, it's all American, brother. You just can't beat that. So we will be sticking with stick shift in Leroy probably indefinitely. Alright, so the transmission is in. The cradle's still on the ground. I've actually decided to work on it down here. I've got to swap out the spindles, take off those shocks, and a couple other things. We're ditching the leaf spring as well. So we're definitely on track for Streetcar Takeover Charlotte this weekend. He's coming together quickly, and we should have him done just in time. I'm going to head out Thursday, drive up to Charlotte. It's going to be a good time. We'll be selling merch, racing, and definitely come by and say hi. But that's all for now. I'll see you on Thursday. I'll have a video up with the new wheels and a couple other things that we've been hiding. So thanks for watching. Do it for Dale, and we will see you later.
Well, dang. Hope you enjoyed your time on the Cleetus McFarland YouTube channel. Check out some of our t-shirts. We've got the Do It For Dale t-shirt, the Do It For MURICA t-shirt, and of course the Twin Turbskis t-shirt, all of which can be found in the link in the description below. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe and check out this video that we posted earlier this week.